not be able to return to New York, so there might actually be two Cameron Brookses in Denver for all. I'm here to talk about what IBM is doing in the area of water management. We've been looking at this area for about 2 years. It started as part of our group we called Big Green Innovations, which was an organization we formed at our chairman's direction to look at how to grow and incubate environmental businesses at IBM. So we started looking at energy, solar cells, photovoltaic research, carbon management, and water. And since that time, about 3 years ago, the last 2 years or 18 months really focused in on water and how some of the tools and technologies IBM has, in combination with new partners, can help make a difference and make a change to advance the industry. And it's part of our Smarter Planet campaign. You saw the advertisement, and you've probably seen some of our ads on TV, newspaper, and the internet. We launched the Smarter Planet campaign about a year ago, and what it really is trying to take a thought leadership direction to say that we now have the ability to take data from almost everywhere, because there is so much data being generated. There are devices embedded in almost everything we have, and there is a lot of connectivity out there. Phones are connected to computers that are connected to your cars, that are connected to offices. And so how can you take advantage of all this data and all this interconnectedness and start to make better decisions? The piece that we can start to develop more at IBM now is the intelligence. How do you embed intelligence with this data? How do you start taking advantage of this data, sorting it, analyzing it, and really leading to better insights and predictive abilities? And that's really the theme behind Smarter Planet. And it applies to not just water, but smarter energy grids, smarter healthcare, smarter transportation. And so you'll see a lot of these different themes coming from IBM, but basically the message is the same, is that we're trying to build intelligence into a lot of this data. And so if you look at smarter traffic, think about the idea of having sensors throughout your city, looking at congestion, looking at traffic flow, and making better decisions about how to reroute traffic and avoid congestion and reduce carbon. Think about in the energy space, having enough monitoring so you know when your energy grid's going to fail, when storms are going to start impacting your ability to deliver electricity. And so the same kinds of insights and abilities we're applying to the water space, a smarter water grid, if you will. Although I don't like necessarily that exact phrasing, because water is so much more than just a grid. And so that's what I'll talk a little more about. And in fact, the interconnectedness between water, carbon, and energy is critical here. So you can't manage water by itself without thinking of the energy impacts of it. There is so much energy needed to pump water, especially in the West here, that any decision on water conservation has an equal and perhaps even more important impact on energy utilization. And the same goes true for the flip side. The energy generation has impact using a lot of water, whether it's hydro or nuclear or even oil and gas. And so you have to think about all of these three in concert. And so what we're trying to do at IBM is think of not just the water, but the energy and carbon impacts of that. So many of you probably know some of the challenges on this chart and why water management is such a urgent and critical issue. You've got increasing demand, limited supply. You've got water usage around the world growing at twice the population increase. You have infrastructure that is aging and failing in many cases. You've got climate change impacting water availability in many parts of the world. And you have what we call fragmented water management domains. You've got people who are stakeholders who are managing water just for their own needs, but not necessarily taking into account the impact on their neighbors, whether it's their state neighbors or even their neighbors up and down the river.
So you've got issues, along the Colorado in that area. You've got issues in Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. And so what we feel you need to do is have a better overall view of your watershed, which perhaps can be done through better management of the data. And the other obvious issue that I spoke about before was how energy needs drive water needs, vice versa. So definitely there's a need for progress here. It's estimated that over 1 billion people now don't have access to safe drinking water. And 2/3 of the world's population is expected to have some sort of water scarcity by 2025. The other critical issue here is the infrastructure. And around the world, up to 45% of water is lost before it even gets to deliver to the tap. So through the infrastructure aging and leaking. It's better, obviously, in this country than in places like Mexico and Europe and Asia. But still, I think, at least in the East, you can't wake up one day and hear about a main break somewhere in Philadelphia, New York, Boston. So there's definitely a way to perhaps use technology to improve how you manage that infrastructure. And so the reason IBM is